All right, so I don't know where Ship Cliff left you guys off on last week Friday, but today it is Tuesday, aka your Monday. Okay, so the way I do my classes is online. If I can't see you, or if you don't have your chef's coats, then you don't maximize your full uh, what you call it grading.
Let me go. I'm gonna go put that on right now for
All
you.
right. So if I can't see you, then what is it? What is it called in the category? Uniform. That's 25 points. Okay. I know sometimes we got to be excused. We got to use the restroom and so forth, so on. That's fine. Turn off your camera, turn off your volume, and say, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'm gonna get my goldfish and run away." Whatever the case is. But all right. So from that set on, we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be covering management styles. Okay, that's on the topic today. But before we do that, of course, it is Monday, okay, Tuesday. So we're going to go over the newsletter first things first. Got it? Cool. And I am recording this session. So once it's done, I'm going to go ahead. It takes about 3 hours or so to convert it to video and then to load it up to YouTube. And I'll go ahead and put it on the portal under week 2. Okay. So if anybody wants to go see it and catch up, or if we missed anything, you go back and always and watch it. Got it? Okay. So without further notice, let's go to the newsletter. Okay. Let me know if it comes up, because sometimes there's a technical difficulties. It's on the screen, right? All right, cool. The wonderful, wonderful newsletter, What is Going On, right? First things first, every Monday, okay, Tuesday today, okay? So, online education, again, starts at 10, 15 minutes. I usually log in 30 minutes before class starts. So until Ship Cliff comes back, I'm usually online 30 minutes beforehand. If anybody wants to join and ask questions before everybody gets on, that's fine too. If not, we wait until it's time for the class to get started. Holiday calendar, again, I believe the last day of this block is right before summer break. Summer break is 1 week, June 29th to July 3rd. And then, of course, Monday, in-service day, it's no class on August the 14th. Labor Day, in-service day again, October. And by that time, hopefully, you guys will be in your externship. Okay. And again, if anybody's having trouble paying the rent or the lease, that's the website to go ahead and look for some resources and assistance. Okay. If you have an issue with the portal, you shouldn't have issues with the portal. Everybody should be able to be logging in on the portal every single day, and even on your grading too. So keep up on your grades. Take a look at the notes, see if Chef Cliff does notes or not, and also do ask questions about your grade. Okay. So always log in. But anyways, if you have any issues, that's the number to call. An important announcement again, check your school email all the time. There's a lot of information that's being sent out by Chef Robin, Ms. Shelley, or whoever is sending out emails. So always check on your school email, okay? What else? Miss David, got you, okay? And again, just how to protect yourself, be safe at all times. It's funny. Every time I get a new class students, I always emphasize the use of washing hands and having proper hygiene. And even back 2-3 years ago, when I started teaching here at school, I was gonna be 4 years now. I was emphasize about washing your hands, and I would say, if you don't wash your hands, if I see you not washing your hands, I'm not going to taste your food. One time, 2 years ago, not yes, but 2 years ago, during sometime around right before Christmas, one of my pastry students, I was teaching them PA 101, I believe, and she came into class sniffling. She got the whole entire class sick, even though we tried to do our best, trying, and not distancing from her, but washing your hands and what have you not, still got everybody sick. So that spreads real easy.
Wait, you teach pastry?
A while ago, the associate degree, there was a class that was combined with the culinary arts. It was 101 and 2-1 combined. and it was offered to the pastry associates. I don't know if they have it now. Yeah,
Gotcha.
but it was fun because pastries are used to working in K6 or
Yeah.
K5, sometimes K2. But that's the first time they were able to. The first time they were in K3 and they were out of the element. They're like, "Can we go to back K5?" I'm like, "Nope, you are now in in this class." So it was fun.
Oh, Chef Miguel, I had a quick question.
Sure.
So I got an email at the end of last week about how Career Services is having a Zoom class today at 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to be working for the later one, so I wondered if I could like pop in and ask a couple questions at 9 and then come back.
That's fine. As long
Is
as
that
you-
okay? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Hey, Chef Miguel, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Sorry, I'm a bit late. My bad. I just overslept, I think.
All right, let me go ahead and put you on the attendance real quick.
Right. Right.
Mr. David and also Sean. Okay.
Yeah. You been all right, man? Good to see you.
I've been good.
That's good. That's good. What's up with Chef Cliff? Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. Just for you guys, if you guys are wondering about Chef Cliff, during the storms that came in, his house got hit by lightning.
Oh wow.
So yeah, his whole electrical circuit wiring got fried. He's got no internet, no electricity, so he's staying at his parents' home in in the meantime. So he'll be back soon once he gets that resolved.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. He called me yesterday. I'm like, "Can you come to my class?" Like, yeah, sure, no problem.
So did part of his house like light on fire then?
I think so. I think the attic might have caught on fire.
Oh my
Holy
God.
cow.
Yeah.
That's
Insane.
crazy.
So I don't know if you guys are going to go to the lab next block, but if you guys are, just be aware of the newsletter on Monday, when to pick up your product and what times, okay? This for the ones that are taking the lab classes now, okay? And just a quick notice about bleach. It can also be utilized sanitation. Utilize 1 cup of bleach per 1 gallon of cold water. And that'll read at 200 ppm. Don't go in there crazy and drop in a whole half kilo of bleach in a gallon of water. It's not going to work. It's going to become toxic. Yes? Done that? Yeah.
That's just what I do.
Some places, they try to leave bleach away. I mean, not order and have it in their storage units or in the chemical closets, because some people have not been trained on properly how to use the bleach and other chemicals. I have one executive steward.
Yeah, like for example, like bleach and ammonia, it's one or the other. Never mix them together, you'll die.
Exactly. So about 20 years ago, my executive steward did exactly the same thing. Mixed bleach and ammonia, thinking it was going to have a better concentration on to clean the floors in the mop closet. I had to pull him outside. He was gagging because of the fumes. He almost died. So yeah,
Yep.
No bleach or ammonia. Okay. Online uniform standards. Again, if I can't see you, if you're not wearing your chef's coat, you're not going to maximize the 25 points on your grade. Okay, guys? And I will make a note on your grading too. So if you wonder why you got such grades, we'll take a look at your grade. And if you're not visible or you're not have your chef's coats, that's the reason why. Okay?
Can you
Here's things-
see all of us
Yeah,
on your screen?
I can see all of you guys. Okay? Piercings, yeah, I don't have mine. I'll take it off. Okay? Out of respect. And again, I only see you guys from your chest up. I only see you below that. You may be wearing flip-flops, shorts, PJs, whatever, right? And I guess you guys know about Mr. Jamil Hooper and Miss Ann Derrick, the 2 best friends you guys will ever have for your externships and finding jobs. Okay. And Lucas Hiring, the beer plant, a vegan gastropub, is who is looking for a flexible, hardworking teammate with a positive attitude. Please include a cover letter about why you want to join our team to be considered for the job. What are you bringing to the table, right? Located at 3110 Windsor Windsor Road, Austin. Okay, and that's the place to go look for a job to apply for it. Okay. Also, Lucas Hiring, the Lodge, Black Sheep Lodge, line cook, $15, not bad, plus signing bonus. Located at 2108 South Lamar. Okay. Email your resume at Black Sheep Lodge to complete the application and ask for Mr. Phillip. Okay. Bakers and cake decorators needed for a Capital City Bakery. www.capitalcitybakery.com, located at 2211 East Cesar Chavez. Capital City Bakery is a small award-winning vegan bakery. Vegan. Okay. If you're into that, that's who to go to apply for a job. Important announcements. Career Services will be hosting open forums called Tuesday Talks via Zoom. Right? Sally, right? Excited to be partnered with academics in hopes of bringing a series called Chef Talks, where we invite industry professionals who will be guest speakers. Please stay tuned for more details. Again, today is the day between 9 or 2 o'clock for discussion and employment in light of COVID-19, externship, and much, much more. Bring your questions and suggestions. Okay. More information, see Mr. Jamil Hooper or Ms. Anderek. What do you guys think about the industry? How it's going to change without this going on?
Already changed a lot. It's really a lot.
Everything is more and more online now.
Right.
There's less dine-in. I feel like a lot of like the casual, like convenient restaurants or places of business are going to be more online, and then like the fine dining, like 5-star type establishments are going to be like much more exclusive. Like even if they were already reservation and walk-in, now they're like probably just going to be completely reservation, limited space. But at the same time, like I feel like for fine dining restaurants, exclusivity is going to create a better amount of business, because now you're going to have to like work your way in. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like people like exclusivity because it makes it more special. You're like, I got that reservation. I was able to gather this amount of people for this party. Whereas now other people are going to, other people are going to have to wait, but the exclusivity is making fine dining experience a little more, it's going to keep their business.
Mm-hmm. True, and as a lot of restaurants that we have seen firsthand, they either close their doors, shut down, and either laid off, terminated, or send their employees on a furlough when they go back into operating hours or operating, the restaurants. Even now with the 25-50%. That could be a good excuse to get rid of the dead weight. And the dead weight means those who do not work, those who are leaning against the wall, those who are not productive, those who are milking the clock. And who are they going to bring back? The ones that are always busy, always doing what being instructed and following the rules and guidelines. And those are the first ones that they're going to be on their speed dial to be brought back. As far as that, the ones that are being brought back, they're, again, in this restaurant industry, even restaurant operations, the huge big cost of the running restaurant, it's labor and food cost. Labor is about 30%, and the food cost is about 30%, or the big piece of the pie. So it's about 60% of your net profit that is going to go to labor and food costs. So if you can drive down labor costs and still have good quality food, even dropping down 18%, you're going to take a little bit more of the pie home, okay? Bigger slice of the pie home. So yes, labor is a big issue. It's always has been, but now with this thing happening, you can bet you that they're going to be bringing only back a limited amount of staff, and the ones that are more productive, not the ones that are, again, I call them Houdinis, who disappear, go in the restroom for 15-20 minutes, go outside and chit chat and not be productive. Those are the ones that are going to be back, possibly the at last, or maybe not even brought back. Just keep that in mind, okay? Plus, all those sanitation standards are going to go along with it too, And again, it shouldn't be like that. In this industry, we should always be practicing safe sanitation standards, from washing your hands, when you cough, cup inside your elbow, when you sneeze the same way, change your gloves, wash your hands, and all those good things that we should be practicing. So you guys, learn in foundations in one-on-one, okay? But again, not everybody wash their hands, as we have noticed. Now, it's crazy that we see people wearing gloves at the grocery market with a mask on, driving with gloves on. It's insane. Anyways, enough of that. Just for fun, can we uninstall 2020 and reinstall it? It has virus. I don't know who comes up with that stuff. Okay. Quote of the week: smile often, be loyal, never stop learning, stay humble, work hard, be kind, travel, be honest, appreciate love. Okay. Quote of the week. Food for thought, my peeps. Okay. Trivia. What is the oldest major soft drink in the United States? RC, Barks, root beer, Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola.
I feel like it's the one I don't know, which is the root
Got
beer.
it. It's got to be Coca-Cola.
It's Coca-Cola.
I want to go with RC.
RC
No, it's Dr. Pepper, I mean.
think it's Dr. Pepper.
So how
Dr.
many?
Pepper's like
That's a
easy
Texas
Pepper,
one, right?
but
You know,
all over the U.S. It's Coke.
How many for one RC Cola? Remember that? Is it still around?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My nanny loves that stuff.
Still going strong.
I remember back when I was a kid back in the LBC, right? Up in
Right.
Santa Fe, right? A
RC
dollar
Cola.
would give me a bag of chips and an RC Cola.
Yep.
Anybody for Barque's root beer?
I feel like it's that one just because I don't know it.
Okay. To me, root beer tastes like Bengay. I don't like root beer.
I don't like root beer either. I don't
I
like
love it.
sarsaparilla.
It's good. It's caffeine free too.
Anybody for Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper all day, sir.
All right. Dr. Pepper braised short ribs, awesome with the barbecue sauce.
Oh,
What
yeah.
about Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola.
All right.
Have you ever heard of Coca-Cola barbecue sauce? You mainly hear of Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce. So.
Yeah, I've heard it, and it's good
Yeah,
too.
it makes that candy coat.
Yeah, because all that sugar it has in it. Yeah. All right. RC, Barque's root beer, Dr. Pepper, and Coca-Cola. The answer is Dr. Pepper.
Go do.
What do I win?
I don't know. More brain power.
Oh, yay.
Dr. Pepper was formulated by Brooklyn-born pharmacist Charles Allerton in Morrison's Old Corner Drugstore in Waco, Texas in 1895. Was created 1 year before Coca-Cola. That's why when you drive to Fort Worth on I-35 West, you see the big Dr. Pepper on the right-hand side. You go north, factory right off close to Waco. Dr. Pepper. Who would have thought, right? Good stuff. Good stuff. Really? There we go. Okay. So now let's get into the topic today. Okay. We said we're going to be discussing about management styles, right? Coolio. Let's go over and let's go to day number 6. 6. Okay. Day 6, management styles. Okay. There's different kinds of management styles. There are the ones of the, we call them seat warmers or chair warmers, the pencil pushers who like to sit behind the desk, pushing pencils, doing what they say they're crunching numbers, but in all the reality, guys, if you run a kitchen, if your kitchen is run smoothly and the systems are in place and the structure is running like it should be, you have an awesome team, you should be spending no more than 20% in your office behind the desk as an executive chef, okay? We call those the ones that are hands-on, like me. I like to be hands-on all the time, okay? What else? Pencil pushers, hands-on, and the ones who don't really care. The ones who are never in the kitchen or in the office, right? So it's hard to find them. So you have to track it down. Maybe they have a cowbell and an egg, right? So you can find them. What else? What else do you think the different kind of management styles? We got behind the desk.
Micromanaging and macromanaging.
Oh, I hate those. Micromanaging. Go, Miss
I was
Scott.
going to say compassionate management.
Compassionate management, yep. Micromanagement is like, you can't breathe in your shadow. And compassionate are good too, but sometimes you gotta walk the fine line between being too compassionate because they will walk all over you. They will use a system against you. You also need to be direct, but you can be compassionate, but you got to be direct. You got to be firm because after all, it is your business, right? You're the owner, you're the chef. So, business as usual, because once somebody decides to work for you, they had to sign a contract to work under you or work with you. That's the application. If they don't want to work with you, then they have a choice, right? They can either deuce, bye Felicia, right? So 6 kinds of management styles. Okay, let's go to the first one, maybe. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Right? Now, in this case, you can have both in one restaurant. You can have the executive chef being the management, and you can have the sous chef being the leader. They both balance each other out, and they are very successful. And they can have an awesome team, but when the management or the executive chef, tries to call somebody in the office, that's the worst thing you can hear. Can you come in the office, talk to me? Like, oh, here we go. Oh, hell no to the no. Okay. We'll watch the video in a minute. Okay. Styles of leadership. Nearly all management techniques are based on one of the 4 main styles of leadership. Autocratic. Leader makes all the decisions. Bureaucratic. Rules are the ultimate authority. Leader is there to ensure they are followed. Democratic. All participants are involved in decision making. Laissez-faire. Employees are allowed to make their own decisions without much oversight from the manager. These leadership styles exist on a spectrum, with autocratic leaderships being the easiest but less effective, and laissez-faire being the most difficult, but it's too zoomed in, but most effective. Even on campus, your chef instructors fall into this category. Who can you think falls into the autocratic category? Those of you guys who have different chef instructors. And it's okay, you can name it.
Chef Robin.
Autocratic.
I was
Yeah.
going to say Chef Scott. Just like, I don't know.
Chef Scott, Chef Robin. Well, Chef Robin, she's in charge of everybody. So
What about Chef Kara?
Chef Kara?
Chef
Yeah.
Tammy.
Chef Tammy, yeah, she's an autocratic, I know that. How about bureaucratic? Who falls into the category?
That would be Chef Robin.
You're bureaucratic.
Bureaucratic, Chef Robin, yeah.
Mm. Bureaucratic.
Also Marcus, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chef Greg was pretty bureaucratic. He wanted technique over individuality. He wanted that technique.
Okay. That's good. How about democratic?
I think Chef Cliff is very democratic.
Absolutely.
Chef Emily.
That one is more Chef Kara.
Democratic, yeah.
I was going to say us as students are democratic as working together at a table.
Yeah.
No.
How about laissez-faire?
Chef Rav.
Most definitely. So in dentistry, you can be a combination of 1 or 2 or 3 as well too. Okay. Like, when I have a class and my students go through my class, they say for regionals or even 201, even 101. Because 101, we have that fajita buffet. We got the Southern fried chicken buffet, right? So, we go in, we talk about the techniques and the cooking methods and so forth, so on. And we decide we're going to have a buffet, right? All the chicken and we bring all the side condiments, the collard greens, the mashed taters, the Arnold Palmer iced tea and so forth, so on. And then, I tell the students, okay, we're going to have this buffet. We got X amount of days. We're going to, still conduct and produce our menu, but you guys are going to be responsible of producing this buffet. And I say, you guys come up with an action plan. Who's going to be doing what? I'm going to give you the timelines and you guys go at it. And it's their show. Same thing with 201, their final brunch buffet at the end of the class, the culmination practice. Again, in 201, you do all the charcuterie, you do all the gravlax and so forth, so on, all the cookery. So you learn all the techniques, all the recipes. And at the end of the class, I think the week before, I started talking about it since day 1 about the buffet. And I keep on reminding them about, during the 6 weeks, hey, the buffet until week 4. Then I ask them for a menu of what the brunch buffet, what they would like to have. according to what they have learned, and maybe a couple of extra items. And I've also asked them to produce a menu. A menu. I don't do a menu for them. They do their menu for their brunch, and they have to do. They got to do who's going to be doing what, a prep list, who's responsible for doing such things. Okay, so yes, style leadership. You can be in one, combination of two, and they all work together too. Even like you said, who said that in class you may have they're democratic in your group. Somebody just mentioned that right now.
Chef.
Okay, so think about it. In each day in class, you sit in the lecture for an hour. We go over the techniques, the region, what have you not, the recipes, and so forth, so on. And then we go in the kitchen, right? You all break into a teams of 4. In each category, in each team, in each table, there's supposed to be 4, maybe sometimes 5, maybe it's 3. But you will also find in their teams one that is autocratic, one that is bureaucratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. But laissez-faire is the one that always wants to take out the easy way out. Oh, I'm going to do the bread. I'm going to make the dessert. I'll make the salad. I'll make the dressing. 3 hours go into it, and all it makes is one salad. Right? So even in your tables, you have those different ones.
Salad.
You always have one that is going to stand out and be the leader of the pack. Okay? Even in your tables, you'll find those different management styles categories. Unless you have too many alphas in the class, and then they'll butt heads, which I've had in the past. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So let's go over the leadership skills. Like most abilities in life must be earned through practice and hard work. However, there are many different ways to be a good leader. In fact, great leaders often incorporate different types of management styles at different times. Like I said, you can be a combination of 1 or 2. You can be a combination of all of them at different times. Because in the kitchen, right, it's not your kitchen at your home. It's the kitchen that you decide to work in. And if you have many different staffs to manage, then you have to approach them in a different way. Okay, leadership experience. I have 13 people follow me on Twitter. Whatever, right? But again, in the kitchen, you may have a staff of 15 or 12 working underneath you, and each one of them, their personality is different. So you have to adjust your management style to be able to manage that individual and have a successful, productive employee, and they can make you successful too. So not bad to be one combination, but it can be a combination of all. Okay. All right. So what is the best management style? What do you guys think would be the best management style?
Combining them, like you said.
Okay.
I think trying to be flexible and meeting people where they're at will kind of might pull you in different directions. So I like to consider myself as being flexible.
Yeah.
Be consistent too. Always try to keep the same rules so they know your rules, or you know theirs. Be consistent.
Right. Be consistent, be the rules, and also follow back. Don't just say, okay, this is what it's supposed to be, and let them go and never check back. One of the, like I say, consistency. Like guys, I'll give you an example too. Okay, when I have a new class, first day first, we talk about all the good stuff that we talk about on day 1, from the what's expected, the grading, what's coming up ahead, and so forth, so on. But always set the standard at the beginning. We always line up outside the classroom. We can do a lineup, and then we go into the kitchen and we start. Okay, so you can be the autocratic, and then you can be a democratic when you go into production. So as the owner of your business, you have to be an autocratic, because again, you are the one responsible for all the money that is being generated and all your customers. So you have to be on that firm part of it. So when you set the standards, again, you can be democratic, you can be a little laissez-faire a little bit, but you got to set it up first, and you got to follow through. Hey, where's this? Hey, where's that? Where's the cookies that I asked you to make? What about that sauce? What about the veal stock? So you got to follow through. You got to go back and double check, recheck, and triple check just in case, right? Because not a lot of people will follow the instructions. Maybe sometimes they don't want to ask questions, so you got to make sure that you understand them a little bit more. Okay. So the simple and perhaps somewhat disappointing answer is that there is no method of leadership that is always superior to all other types of management styles. The best type of management style is one that is flexible, adaptive, and appropriate for given circumstances. This is true because different situations call for different kinds of leadership. Okay, so you can be one or two, you can be all of them at the same time. Okay, I'm not saying have 25 different personalities. All right. When deciding how to lead, you'll need to take a number of things into consideration. Here are a few factors that will influence which management style you need to employ. 1, the type of business you manage. 2, the volume of work that needs to be completed in the future. Your personality and innate management qualities. The personalities of attitudes of the staff you're currently managing. Okay? Just like a football coach, right? Everybody's different, but again, you all have the same goal, right? Just like the captain of the team, same thing. Okay. Autocratic leadership. Of these styles, autocratic is the easiest to do. All you have to do is give orders and demand that they be followed. You don't need to put in the effort to create standard procedures, bureaucratic. Get employee input in decision making, democratic, or empower employees to work independently, laissez-faire, right? Autocratic leadership is vital in many workplace environments. The style is necessary within the organizations and the companies that demand error-free outcomes. When autocratic leadership is one of the least popular management styles, it is also among the most common. Autocratic leadership process generally entails one person making all strategic decisions for subordinates. Although it has fallen out of favor in recent decades, the autocratic leadership style is still prevalent. What is autocratic leadership? The short answer is my way or the highway. You guys heard that before, right? And it's like, really, dude? Really? Really? Right? Many contemporary examples of leaders who prefer my way or the highway technique. The autocratic style was made famous by certain military and political leaders, sports coaches, and industrial age icons. So, my way or the highway, right?
Hitler.
Military, right? Military, my way or the highway. There's no buts, ifs, or nothing. You do as you're told, and that's it. Okay. Autocratic leadership has received a ton of criticism due to numerous factors. Here are 3. 1, historically, autocratic leadership has to be associated with tyrants and dictators who use authoritarian means to cajole and threaten underlings to performing the tasks. Okay. Example, an autocratic leader, one person has control over all the workers and followers. Hitler is in complete control and no one is permitted to make any suggestions or offer any opinions, no matter how many benefit the group. Okay. Hu Jintao, president of China. What about Fidel Castro, former leader of Cuba? Autocratic, their way or the highway. What about now? What about Kim Il-jung from North Korea, right? You question his authority, he's going to shoot you in the head or feed to the dogs.
If he's still alive.
Well, you know, we could be a double right now, right?
True, that's true.
Autocratic leadership has become the fallback position for managers of people who lack skills, training, and experience. 3, some people are uncomfortable working for autocratic leaders because they feel it epitomizes authoritarianism. Even the most suitable management style of training inexperienced staff or in controlled process. So autocratic leadership, the following behavior characterizes authoritarian leaders. Strong control is maintained over the work group. Others are motivated by coercion. Others are created with commands. Communication thus flows downward. Decision making does not involve others. Emphasis is different in status and you, right? So in the culinary world, who can be an autocratic leader? Who would be an
Head
autocratic leader?
chef. The
Yes.
head chef.
Yeah,
The sous chef too, for sure.
Executive
right.
Susan.
The sous chef, the head chef. What about Gordon Ramsay?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for real.
Gordon Ramsay can be an autocratic. What about Robert Irvine? What kind of leadership is he? You guys know who he is, right?
Yes. Robert Irving, isn't he on the Food Channel, the big guy with the glasses?
Right.
Yeah, he's on that one show. Is it,
Kitchen Rescue or something like that?
yeah, Nutrition Impossible.
That's
Uh-huh.
it.
It's
What-
impossible.
What kind of leadership does he exhibit?
Oh, I haven't watched that one. He's Guy Fieri's best man though.
He's compassionate. Is
Oh,
that
okay.
He's with the highway, right?
I've
Right.
never watched him either. I have to check him out.
He's
I'd say
compassionate.
like
so-
what's his name? Freaking from the guy. What's it? Robert? I can't remember, man. I just woke up. But the guy that has the French Laundry. What's his name? Thomas Keller.
That was good. Yeah.
He's a real compassionate guy.
Yeah.
Thomas Keller is really cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very like. I just got his master class and I've been checking it out, and he's real kind of, he's just smooth about everything. It doesn't really. You tell that guy just doesn't let anything get under his skin. So.
Yeah, he's compassionate. Yeah, he does. He's thick-skinned. I don't know, all the years in the business, right?
What's that?
All the years in the business, you got to be thick-skinned.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
Autocratic leadership definition. Autocratic derives from the words auto, Greek for self, and cratic, which implies rule. My rules, right? Autocratic leaders often view themselves like automobile engines and drive people under the tutelage or command, whether it's a mayor of a large city, company or CEO, or agency director. Autocratic leaders are self-driven. Their role in business, government organizations is to provide others to perform their best and accomplish tasks without making mistakes. Right? They can't afford to make mistakes, cost them money.
Mhm.
History of autocratic leaderships. History paints a colorful picture of autocratic leaders. Although some of the, like Attila the Hun, Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, were maniacal tyrants. Many autocratic leaders were innovators who revolutionized industries and advanced in societies. Combination of progressive ideas, self-determination, and autocratic leadership led to some of history's most significant events. This include the rise of the Roman Empire and the Julius Caesar, the settling of the U.S. colonies thanks to John Smith, the popularity of automobile due to Henry Ford. Henry Ford, what did Henry Ford do? Do you guys know his little history?
Automobile.
What else?
The guest.
He invented like the assembly line pretty much for, like the Model T. So he was kind of like the first industrial.
Bingo.
Right.
Bingo. Bingo. The assembly line, right?
Yeah.
Revolutionized assembly line, and we still use that too in the operation in banquets and kitchens. The assembly line. Okay. In banquets, it's all about producing an assembly style setting. Okay. So Henry Ford, who helped perfect assembly line manufacturing economies of scale, is one of the clearest examples of an autocratic leader who changed society. Although Ford remains a controversial figure as an authoritarian industry magnate, he created hundreds of thousands of jobs and raised wages of assembly line workers. So a lot to Henry Ford. At the opposite extreme, Huey Long and Richard Daley, political bosses of Louisiana and Chicago, respectively, gained immense popularity in their states, and even as they violated all kinds of laws, including reportedly murder. What about Lincoln? Was Lincoln an autocratic leader?
No, Democratic all the way, dude. Very Democratic.
He's pretty. He forced. What is it? He suspended habeas corpus. He basically shut down the entire country and said it's my way, because of the Civil War.
Yeah, you're right.
He was
Right.
pretty. I mean, he was very sweet and nice man, from what I understand. But the things he did, his actions, were very forceful. I think, which is good. I think that's what had to happen. But
He did release the slave, he did give people a choice to get away from slavery though. So there is some,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yep, and yeah.
President Abraham Lincoln is sometimes categorized as an autocratic leader because of the many autonomous decision made again brought civil war. Although Lincoln did not accept many of the authoritarian characteristics of autocratic leaders, American history demanded a bold president who was willing to make difficult and unpopular decisions from 1861 to 1865. Lincoln rose to the occasion and became the autocratic leader of the United States needed at that time. Became at that time, right? Examples of autocratic leaderships: discipline, preparation, and victory are three pillars of autocratic leadership. These objectives are present of all the successful football teams, from the Alabama Crimson Tide to the New England Patriots. Outstanding gridiron coaches such as Bill Belichick, Bear Bryant, Bill Parcells, and Woody Hayes, along with the list of autocratic leaders. None of these coaching legends managed their football programs with Democrats in mind. It also succeeded famously in their careers. True, right? Especially in football. You have to be autocratic, because if you don't, you're not going to get that ring. Right? What ring? Be a Belichick, yep.
Super Bowl ring, dude.
Right. Mahomes, right? In addition to sports, autocratic leadership works well in environments that require near perfect accuracy, such as manufacturing. The autocratic or authoritarian style is necessary with staff that need training quickly and efficiently. Fast food enterprises frequently fall in this category. Autocratic leadership is also common in professions where life and death decisions occur. Think ambulatory care in hospitals, police, military personnel, and fire departments, right? Hospitals, very autocratic, because if you make a mistake, what happens if you make a mistake in a hospital? You die, right? Police.
You die.
No, if you don't follow the rules of the police,
You
what
go to
happens?
jail.
Huh? Right? With a popo, you don't follow the directions, what? You get shot or taser, right? But who that? Popo. You got to follow the instructions. Yeah. Taser. Autocratic leadership in the music industry. What about the music industry? Who can you think be autocratic?
The artist, right? I mean, it's their stuff.
Producer?
Right. So who could be autocratic? Name an artist or two.
Madonna.
Uh-huh. Who else?
Future?
Who else?
Gucci Mane? No, who's that?
Jay-Z Fair, Jay-Z, right? Beyonce,
Yeah.
autocratics, right?
Yeah.
In the old days, Michael Jackson, maybe Prince.
The Baby? I heard he almost got arrested or something.
Autocrat leadership in the music industry. Music business is something overlooked when it comes to autocrat leaders. One is the maestro of the Boston Pops Orchestra, the lead guitarist for a chart-topping band. Every successful music ensemble requires leader to maintain consistency and longevity. Two unlikely contemporary examples of popular bands with autocrat leaderships are Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers of the Eagles. Probably before some of your guys' times, right?
Yeah, who are those guys?
Tom Petty, Florida native and leader of his self-titled band, is an infamous perfectionist. As a leader, he's autocratic and demanding. Petty is credited with single-handedly leveraging record labels to share a larger take of the profits, money from which the music artists still benefit. Petty's also unabashed about his decision to dismiss the founding drummer from his band for what amounted to a perceived lack of commitment. Even the founding drummer, hit the road, Jack, but you come back no more, no more, no more. Glenn Fry, right? Before he cut his hair. Michigan native, turned permanent Arizona resident, co-founded the Eagles. Fry has a reputation of autocrat leader who espoused the my way or the highway style throughout the Eagles' successful and rocky road to stardom. Fry makes no apologies for his belief that he and co-founder Don Henley were the engines that drove the Eagles to fame and fortune. Didn't he die several years ago?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see.
Examples of autocratic leaderships in their business. The founders of many of today's successful companies learn from industry innovators, including Walmart's Sam Walton, McDonald's Ray Kroc. You guys ever watched the movie yet? I haven't.
What is it? The Founder?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's
Okay.
really good.
And Oracle's Larry Ellison, autocratic leadership is necessary to streamline processes, grow their customers base, and pave the way for long-term survival. Other industries well suited for autocratic leaderships. Restaurants. People go to the restaurants with big expectations, whether it's a fast food chain or an upscale establishment. Customers expect consistent service, well-mannered hosts, and efficient servers. Whether they order the combo burger and fries or a 7-course gourmet meal. Customers expect their food to be good. Dining establishments need to be autocratic leadership style to meet these expectations. Even the most cheerful and lively restaurants run at slim margins that can't tolerate any minimal mistakes. What about aerospace? You guys think about aerospace? Not Aerosmith, aerospace. What happens if you make a mistake on NASA, on one of the rockets? What could happen?
Everybody dies.
Right? Aerospace. Yeah, it can blow up, right?
Uh-huh.
Aerospace, autocratic leadership that emphasizes error-free processes leads to safety and affordability in aerospace manufacturing. Consider the millions of commercial cargo and NASA flights that launch and land safely every year. Aerospace industry deserves credit for consistent passenger safety. Their success will not be possible without autocratic leaders and innovators. What about the airline industry as well too, right? Got to be very detailed. Quotes from autocratic leaders. These leaders have reputations as being hands-on perfectionists. Here are some quotations that reflect their autocratic leadership styles. Vince Lombardi, leaders aren't born, they are made. And they are made just like anything else through hard work. What about Henry Ford? Quality means doing the right when no one is looking. Tony La Russa, there are always distractions if you allow them. Napoleon Bonaparte, men are moved by 2 levers only, fear and self-interest. Ridley Scott, I think at the end of the day, filmmaking is a team, but eventually there's got to be a captain. Think about those quotes. Vince Lombardi said, leaders aren't born, they are made. And they are made just like anything else through hard work. How could that apply to us in industry?
You usually have to work your way up in this industry. And you're developed along the way from dishwasher to executive chef. So, they build you, develop you.
Hard work we put in and the hours,
Since even if you had an early start in this industry, maybe when you were 15, 16, washing dishes, busting tables, all the way down to maybe working in the pantry, then working the way you saute, the grill station, the fry station, maybe be the lead cook, maybe be the sous chef next, and so forth, so on. You train it through hard work. Sometimes, we're born different. Everybody's born different. I never thought it would be, an executive chef a long time ago. To be honest, I wanted to be a veterinarian, not a chef, not in this industry, to help out animals. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
And instead of helping animals, I'm cooking them. PETA, people eating tasty animals. Henry Ford, quality means doing right when no one is looking. Right? What is that called? What is that called?
Integrity.
Bingo, integrity. Okay. Integrity is doing right when no one is looking. I had one of my regional directors when I was working for Sodexo. He was visiting my property from Prairie View, and he walked around the university. And he said he had a meeting with us, and he said he stopped in the middle of the campus and picked up some trash and put it in the trash can when nobody was looking or somebody was looking. but he did it because out of integrity. He didn't want his campus to be, loiter around. So he made a choice, again, integrity, do the right thing even though no one's looking, to pick up a piece of trash and put it in the container. Now, integrity, right? Doing what it says, doing the right thing when no one is looking. Okay, and I use that in campus. How many of us are in campus and walk around and see a cup or something spill on the floor, and you walk around and look at it or step over it, or even the water is spilled from the sink, that the drain pipe is so clogged up and nobody's tending to it, sweeping it, mopping it, or squeegeeing it, right?
Right.
And again, that could be cause of severe injury. Somebody slips and falls, right? So again, doing the right thing when nobody's looking. Donna Larusa, there are always distractions if you allow them. How does that relate to our kitchen?
A burning thing, that fire.
Think about it, guys, in the kitchen. Yeah.
You have a lot of things going on, a lot of people, so that's focused on your job. $20 in the kitchen, 4 per table, right? A lot of distractions if you allow them, right? Even somebody might be criticizing your food or not doing right, but if you allow them to distract you, you're not going to be producing that awesome recipe. Might not be producing the awesome recipe. So distractions, if you allow them. Okay? Don't allow distractions. Keep focused on what's at hand. Even in focus,
life.
Right? The focus,
right? So men are moved by 2 levers: only fear and self-interest. What's in it for me, right? What's in it for you guys?
Save your butt or make money, right?
Right? Self-interest, right? And at the end of the day, even Ridley Scott says filmmaking is a team, but eventually there's got to be a captain. In the kitchen, at the end of the day, the kitchen is a team, but there's got to be a captain.
Chef.
All that applies to the kitchen. Okay. Ray Kroc, you're only as good as the people you hire. True or not?
That teamwork.
Okay. Alfred Hitchcock, if an actor comes to me and wants to discuss his character, I say, it's in the script. If it says, but what's my motivation? I say, your salary. How about that commercial, Liberty Mutual, Liberty Bibberty, right? What happens to the actor?
Overdub it.
Right? Ended up dubbing it, right? Liberty Bibberty. Okay. He said it's in the script. Motivation, your salary, right? In the kitchen, right? I got to cook. Motivation, I got to get paid, right? Roger Ellis, audiences are shifting, platforms are shifting, ages are shifting. It's better to be in charge than to have to react to change, right? Gordon
They
Ramsay,
say, what is it? Like adapt and overcome the military, right?
Yeah, exactly. Gordon Ramsay, kitchens are hard environments and they form incredibly strong characters. You want to cry, go cry in walking, right? If it's too hot, get the GTF out of the kitchen, right? Get out. Lorne Michaels, to me, there's no creativity without boundaries. You're going to write a sonnet, it's 14 lines, so it's solving the problem without the container. John D. Rockefeller, I do not think there's any quality so essential to success than any kind as the quality of perseverance, right? You got to stick to your guns. You got to make sure that you stay on it. Don't give in. So autocrat leadership case study, Blue Cross of California. Leonard D. Schaefer considered himself an autocrat leader when he became CEO of Blue Cross of California in 1986. At the time, the company was a fiscal disaster, the lowest performing of all Blue Cross plans around the United States. His job was to turn it around. Schaefer describes his experience as an article in Harvard Business Review.
the leadership journey. Here's an excerpt what he said. Okay. When a business needs to change relatively quickly, it is much more important to just make a decision to get people moving, and that is so to take the time to conduct a thorough analysis and attempt to influence others to come around to your way of thinking. Therefore, I would define the autocrat leader not as to somebody who bullies others needlessly, but also the management equivalent of an emergency room surgeon, forced to do whatever it takes to save a patient's lives. Schaefer eventually abandoned the autocratic method, even though he has used it effectively early in his career. Likewise, students who gravitate towards his style can learn how to adapt and perfect their leadership techniques as the times change, right? So what happened right before this virus went around? What were you guys? Were you guys in the kitchens?
Mhm.
So what happened at the time? And we had cut it short, right?
Yeah.
So think about it, Robin too, autocratic, right? How to do whatever it takes to save everybody's safety and keep you guys safe. So we cut it short by 3-4 days, right? Or a week and a half. And then we went online, or we ended up earlier, just to keep everybody safe. Okay. Sometimes you got to think autocratic. What's the best way in this ever-changing times, with this going on? Autocratic leadership style requirements. Autocratic leaders, let me move this thing around here. I can read. There we go. Autocratic leaders typically make all major decisions on their own, with little or no input from others. Extreme authoritarian leaders often insist on making even minor decisions. Leaders needing to control minute tasks often are derided as micromanagers, although the military traditionally encourages superiors to make unchallenged decisions. Civil organizations may not respond to this leader style much longer. Who works well on autocratic leaders? What do you guys think works on the autocratic leaders?
Sheep.
Yep. Individuals who march to the beat of their own drum generally don't work well with autocratic leaders. By comparison, people who can successfully lead a couple of dozen diverse figurative drummers to stay in sync and keep rhythm without missing a beat make excellent autocratic leaders, right?
Hey, Chef.
Yes.
I will say that, man, while I do like to dance to the beat of my own drum, I like to go somewhere where somebody's organized and has their stuff together and says, hey, man, this is what you got here. This is what I need you to do. And, everything's right there to get it done. And I hate going into a place and they're like unorganized and I'm trying to go and they're just like, well, maybe we could stay here. And everybody's just sitting there talking and talking and talking. I'm like, man. So at the same time, I think somewhere right in the middle is kind of pretty good. Like you said, being flexible and kind of being a good version of both.
Yeah.
That's probably the way.
And that goes too in the kitchens. Have you guys ever finished lecture early and trying to go in the kitchen or trying to go on time and the previous classes is taking a long time cleaning up?
Yeah.
And it's like pissing you off. So individuals, okay? And again, these are the ones, have you ever worked in the kitchen where the cook had been there for 15, 20 years? Oh, dishwasher too? Right? So I was, walking to kitchens in the past where the line staff have been there. Some of them have been there for, I don't know, 7 to 10, 20, 15 years, even the dishwashers. And they will work under autocratic leaders. They don't want that headache. They just want to go in, do the job, clock in, and go home. They don't want to do anything extra. Just want to, like I say, sheep, get in, do the job, and go home. And that's fine too, maybe they're complacent. That's fine. Nothing against them. They do a great job. They come in every day, they're loyal, they're dependable. They do the job and they go home. Okay. So pros and cons about autocratic leadership, styles. So Pros, effectively when decisions must come quickly without the time to consult others. Prevents businesses or projects from becoming stagnant because poor organization or lack of leadership. Keeps individuals, groups, or teams from missing important deadlines. During stressful periods, autocrat leaders can be more effective and their teams appreciate their leadership. So their cons, invite potential abuse by overly powerful personalities, can stifle staff and discourage team creativity. Modern employees may not react well to authoritarian leadership. Okay. And the last one, can discourage open communication between leaders and subordinates. Communication is key in the kitchen. What happens if there's no communication?
You don't work well. Machine break.
Even the ones that don't speak English. Boss, I don't speak English. Machine broke, right? The systems break down. There's the communication. They become discombobulated. When you have no clear vision of what is expected, then you don't know where to go. You don't become productive, right? Become a sheep. Anyways, bureaucratic leaderships. Bureaucracy defends the status quo long past the time when the quo has lost its status. Lawrence J. Peter. Okay. Definition of bureaucratic leadership. A Cambridge dictionary defines the word as a system of controlling or managing a country, company, organization that is operated by a large number of officials employed to follow the rules carefully. The term is described from the French word bureau, which stands for the office or desk, and Greek suffix for katria, which denotes the power of bureaucracy, is therefore the essence of the power of the office. Okay, that's where it comes from.
You have to be elected to that office, though, you know.
Oh, yeah. Bureaucratic leadership. The bureaucratic system is always a rigid division of labor and clear structure of command, which is enabled by specific and strict rules. In addition, the people within the system are assigned to the roles that best fit their skills, and bureaucratic framework requires a continuous development of both the leader and the subordinates. Because of this requirements, the system tends to focus on the rules, laws, and regulations on the basis of power and functionality. Bureaucratic leadership is often used by restaurant chains. It keeps everything consistent. A guest can walk into any Chili's and expect the food to be pretty much the same as every other Chili's. What about Mickey D's, right? Yeah, no, I don't like Chili's. Mickey D's. From the West Coast to the East Coast, Midwest, North, South, anywhere, you get the same kind of French fries, the same Big Mac. Nothing changes.
No, I did find this interesting though about McDonald's.
Really?
The McDonald's they have in other countries are tailored to the cuisine of that location.
Oh, yeah.
So the McDonald's that you find, I didn't know that. I thought there were Big Macs all around the world. You know what I mean? But like, for example, like, if they have like a McDonald's like in Saudi Arabia or, you know, some Middle Eastern place, they're not going to have beef because they don't eat cows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they sub for different things.
Yeah,
and I
maybe
think that's pretty cool.
Even if they do, they might have halal beef, which is still a bit more expensive.
Right.
You know, and like in Japan, China, different countries, you know, it's still McDonald's, but it's a different take. Even pizza in Australia, kangaroo meat, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird to me. Can't do
Yeah,
it.
India, it's like fake beef or something, or like soy patties or something like that, because they don't eat cows.
Yep.
It's weird.
Hey, Chef, are you cool if I pop into career services for a minute?
Yeah, we're gonna come back. We're gonna go on a couple more slides, and we're gonna you guys are gonna have to go watch a video and come back, and we're gonna discuss it. Okay.
Okay. So, do you want me to wait, or can I pop in for like 5-10?
We until we hit the next category.
Okay.
Okay. So anyways, Chili's. This style is also easy to pull off, provided you already have all the rules and standards in place. However, this is the only style you possibly try to avoid at all possible in a bureaucratic system. An employee is required to do certain things when they get in the way of providing good customer service. However, there are some times when you want to use a bureaucratic approach to leadership. Anytime you create a standard procedure, whether it's for training or cleanup or dividing up the parts of the complicated dish, it's a bureaucratic leadership. Standard procedures, what are those called?
SOs,
What is it?
SOPs.
SOPs, right? Standard operating procedures, also known in the industry as JSAs, right? JSAs, job safety analysis, okay? In the corporate world, those exist quite a bit, and I used to love it because it gave me structure to the workplace, and I borrowed some of those and went along with them, okay? Standard operating procedures. Here's a couple of some that I created in the past. Let me pop in a few here of the standard operating procedures. Where is it? Let me find it real quick. Here we go. Who's my pastries in this class? Anybody in pastries? All right. So let's say you're going to do an SOP, standard operating procedures for a s'mores action station. What will you do? What will you have on it?
Say operating procedure for a what? I didn't hear the last part.
Operating procedures for a flambe station.
Flambe? Oh.
Don't set the place on fire.
Yeah, keep your alcohol in a bottle that's that's got a pour spout so you can't spill it. I don't know. Use
Alcohol at the ends, then pour away from you.
A Banana Foster's flambe station. What should be included in that SOP?
A fire extinguisher.
right.
That's it. What else?
A shut-off valve for your flame, to turn it off.
Probably gonna need a burner or gas burner.
Okay. Gas burner.
A fire. Flame
Brown
is-
sugar, bananas, butter.
All right. Here's one that I created a while ago, back in 2008, I believe. There's a date on it. No, 2010. Okay. This is when I was the executive chef at the Embassy Suites in Norman, Oklahoma. This is my SOP. What's in it?
mise en place and safety.
The cleanup too, the tongue, everything. It's just like making a production sheet, only you have your mise en place and everything right there. I mean, it's the same.
Flambe station, flambe action station. One ship attendant for every 100 people. If there was more than 100, I would require two burners, 4 medium sauté pans, gloves, towels, sanitation bucket, server tongs, serving buffet spoons, trash receptacle, condiments, vanilla ice cream in ice down tubs, dark cherries or sliced bananas with OJ so they don't oxidize, raw sugar in a bowl, cut whole butter in a bowl, 151, right? In plastic bottles, like Sean was talking about, okay? Powdered cinnamon in a shaker or a small bowl, rectangular shaper, okay? The chef attendant to be there 20 minutes prior to the event or function. That's the SOP for Bananas Foster's flambe station. What about a s'mores?
Sorry, sir, what was that last one? What about what?
What about a s'mores SOP?
Open flame, graham cracker, marshmallow, Hershey's chocolate. A serving platters, you forgot there.
Here is the s'more action station SOP. Again, wash up attendant for every 100 people. Otis toaster oven. We used to have a contract with Otis Spunkmeyer cookie dough. So we buy the cookie dough from them. They will give us little baggies, and they will let us use the toaster ovens as well too. Okay. Gloves, towels, sanitation bucket, serving tongs, serving buffet spoons, trash receptacle, upright hot box with cookies inside with a sterno to keep it nice and warm. Otis display case, extension cord, graham cookies, chocolate tabs, marshmallows. That's the SOP for a s'mores action station. And sometimes you also have to include a picture of what it's supposed to look like. That's the Otis Spunkmeyer toaster oven. She's got her plates, got her cutting board, got her gloves underneath it, got the marshmallows, got the chocolate tabs, got the graham cracker cookies, got the gloves on, full uniform, trash receptacle in the corner we can't see is a hot box holding the cookies nice and warm. Standard operating procedures, you gotta have them. If you don't, boy oh boy, right? So anyways, SOPs, right? SOPs, very important. 6 principles of bureaucratic leadership. 1, strict and formal hierarchy. Bureaucratic leadership relies on the strict and formal hierarchy, which guarantees members within the organization are aware of the structure. Authority organizes in a manner that guarantees a higher level of leadership controls each level of subordinates, which in turn is controlled by another layer of leaders. Okay, so you got here at the bottom, president, vice president, management, right? So forth, so on. The formal hierarchy ensures authority is clearly defined and the command structure works well with well-oiled machine. The strict and formal hierarchy is the basis of the bureaucratic leadership framework. It guarantees the organization can plan efficiently, ensure decisions are making properly. Okay.
What is the C and the S for on that diagram, sir?
Yeah.
Bottom.
Yeah.
Chain there. There's a C. What's that for? And what's the S? I got the other one.
I forget what the C was. Commissary, steward, right? 2, immutable rules for regulations and laws to control the organization. A bureaucratic system requires defined rules that will control the structure to keep in place. These 2 elements are the cornerstone of the model because they are both complement each other and are provide support for each other. The rules will provide consistent within the framework as well. Since the rules define the operations for a small task to bigger decisions, the bureaucratic system is known for its sometimes laborious rules, but it's in this creates the framework for leadership. There shouldn't be a burdensome aspect either, as leaders more able to manage subordinates in a just manner, as the framework provides consistent in execution. Rules and guidelines, right? Just like, what's his name, John Wick says, right? Consequences. People are organized according to specialties. Bureaucrat leader is not always associated with high level of skills, but emphasizes knowledge and expertise in its framework. The system isn't about knowing the right people or being the best at selling yourself in a position. The system always tries to combine the best talent with the right position. The best talent with the right position. You got a restaurant, you got a grill, saute, and pantry, and the fry and stewarding, right? You're gonna have to hire some high quality cooks, skilled cooks to man that grill because the grill has the high dollar items, all your steaks, the Wagyu, the Kobe, and so forth, so on. So you don't want those steaks to come back burnt. People complain that we're undercooked. You want to make sure that individual knows their steaks, knows the grill, and can cook them to the desired temperature. Okay. The 2 key missions and benefits. According to Webster's, bureaucratic organization has to have either of these 2 missions. A focus mission, which means the organization is aimed at serving the stockholders, the board, or any other such agency that empowers to operate. Organization wants to ensure the benefits of labor flow towards the outside of the organization to secure further support from the surface to the source. In focus missions, which puts the organization itself at the focus of their operations, under this mission, the aim is to provide benefits to the organization and the people within, such as creating more profit, improve the market share, and enhance cash stream, cash money. They have presidents, C-notes, greenbacks, money, pesos, euros, right? Bottom line, that's what it's all about. Right?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So what happens if you don't make money?
Go home.
Here's some words of wisdom one of my old chefs taught me a while ago. And pardon my French if I cuss on you guys with you guys. Anyways, he said, you can be the hottest chef in the entire universe, galaxies, world, country, city, state, right? Within the company. You can be shooting sparks out of your ass. But if you don't control those numbers, if you don't make profit, guess what? You're just a number. They're going to get rid of you, fire you. If you can't control your labor, you can't control those food costs, the next person behind you is going to come and take your job in a blink, in a split second. Okay? Money and personal style. Well, certain leadership frameworks put the person in front, such as a servant leadership or charismatic leadership. The bureaucratic system is properly impersonal. The personalities of the individual achievements are not at the core of the system. The main focus should be the organization and the performance. Individual takes a lesser role. Okay. Reason behind thinking is about the consistent and equal treatment. According to Weber, this kind of a personal approach can guarantee the operational functions perform rationally and not affected by emotions or individual differences. Hiring based on technical proficiency. Just as subordinates are directed to roles that suit their individual skills, the hiring in the bureaucratic leadership model is solely based on technical proficiency, which this means is the person who has the skills required to be a specific role will always get the role. As long as you're able to do the job appropriately, then you're guaranteed the role. If you can't do the job, then someone's going to come behind you and say, "Vámonos," right? Get out.
Yeah.
This also results in the companies moving people from one role to another. As the skill develops and changes, the bureaucratic system doesn't have much movement because it favors in-house knowledge and understanding the framework in place. So advantages, different to a certain leadership roles, theories, such as charismatic leadership, the bureaucratic model doesn't emphasize the leader. The leader is only in the position through his or her competence, so the power doesn't come with them from his or her personality, but the position. The bureaucratic leadership system can provide extremely reliable results. It guarantees procedures don't falter under pressure and ensures everyone in the organization is aware of the process and objectives. Job security can be high and can act as a motivational boost and help subordinates to maintain professionalism. Disadvantages, employees are not expected to make decisions out of the box, and everything that would deviate from the established system will have to be dealt with supervisors. The rigid structure can create an environment where people just follow the procedure and don't try to consider different ways of doing things. What happens if you're the boss or you're the owner of your restaurant, whatever concept is that you come up with and whatever you want to have, and you hire somebody with great skills? They're going to come in, they're going to start doing things their own way, not follow the rest of the standardized recipes, and not follow the instructions. What's going to happen? What could happen?
Quality will demise. You'll lose quality. If you know something's a patent and it works, it'll change. Recipes are in place because they're effective.
What else?
It's going to throw off the whole team.
Think about money. What happens when you enhance and modify the recipe that you set in motion to in your kitchens?
It could change your metrics, change how you your profit margin, affect your money.
Money. If somebody's going to modify the recipe at your restaurant and want to add more items to the recipe or make it bigger or make it smaller, is going to impact your sales, going to impact your profit and your food cost percentage. Remember, 30%, 60% of your overall cost in the restaurant business from that piece of pie is your food cost and labor. If so, you have somebody that is going rogue and start doing their own recipes and modifying what you set in stone or have it differently, is going to impact, again, everything around this domino effect. Okay. And some customers might like it, but they might like it. But again, you set those standard recipes because you want to make money. Right? The bureaucratic system can diminish creative thinking because the system for changing the procedures can be cumbersome. This leadership style does not empower subordinates. It rewards people who are professional and can follow the rules, but there's not much emphasis in increasing your expertise. Famous bureaucratic leaders. Winston Churchill. You guys know who this is? Yeah, right. Well, the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill showed a number of different leadership qualities. Bureaucratic leadership is definitely among the strongest models he used. Churchill had charisma, which he used during the Second World War, but he also relied on a heavily structured system to get things done. Churchill's key bureaucratic leaders trait were his decisive nature and persistent to follow the plan. Churchill was wary of both Stalin, Soviets, Russians, and Hitler's Nazi Germany right from the start. This wasn't a popular assessment of the time, but the British government didn't believe the stark images Churchill was painting about the future. But also Churchill stuck to his decision-making in view of other two leaders. Eventually, as the war began to tear Europe, Churchill was voted in and created a decisive plan to defeat the enemy, no matter what the cost. In the kitchen, in the hotline, right before service, right? You got a pre-shift meeting with your chef. Maybe he's telling you, we got X amount of reservations on the book, right? From this time to this time. He or she foresees the business aspect of the day. And he tells you guys to get ready, get prepared, even though you might not feel like it's going to happen. And then, boom, you get slammed. That printer is spitting out tickets left and right. And now you're becoming stay on the weeds. And again, you're going to defeat that rush no matter what the cost. You got to work fast, provide good quality, happy customers, no matter what the cost. Even if you cut yourself, you got to just bandage it and keep on going. You burn yourself, oh well, no pain, no time for pain, right? You got to keep on going, no matter what the cost. Okay. Churchill also showed plenty of persistence. In his famous speech, Churchill said, "Whatever the cost may be, we shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight on the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender." Churchill will also detail-oriented leader, something that is a key trait of the bureaucratic framework. He wanted to know everything involving different aspects of government and wartime military effort. He understood the importance of trial and error, knowing it'll be inevitable to have ups and downs in whatever you do. He smartly said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." The courage to continue that counts every single day in our business, in our industry. Okay, success is the courage to continue that counts every single day. What about Colin Powell? Right? Colin Powell is another great political example of a bureaucratic leader. His leadership style has roots in the military, which is an organization that often utilizes the bureaucratic model. Powell quickly rose through the ranks in the U.S. military, becoming a general and eventually the first Black member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Leadership skills recognized in 2001 when he became the U.S. Secretary of State. From his time in the military, Powell learned the power of bureaucratic leaderships and needed to follow procedures and the norms. He understood that success was all about optimizing your potential to succeed and minimizing your failures. In essence, what is bureaucratic frameworks all about? Creating a system that maximizes potential or greatness and creates an efficiency across the organization. Back a while ago, and I had a job as an executive chef for Langston University, north of Oklahoma City, historical Black college, through Sodexo. And we had different action stations. We had the hamburger station, which was as far as the longest and the most busiest of all time. So again, college kids, who's not going to want a burger, right? So my cooks were part-time students from campus, and at the end of every shift when I took over it, they were having about 30 to 40 burger patties left over unused. 30 to 40 burger patties left over unused. What can you do with those? You can't sell them anymore for the next shift. And we were blowing through about 40 cases of burger patties a week. 20 each drop, 20 on Monday and 20 on Friday. That's how many burger patties we're going through a week. Okay. Now the goal was to have the margin of error to almost zero. So, throughout the process, I was telling my cooks, don't pre-sear, pre-cook a lot of burgers. Hold back, and towards the end, watch your line. And as you see the line going down, stop the pre-cooking burgers. If you're out of pre-cooked burgers, if somebody comes in, your line is going to be maybe about 3, maybe 2 long. Go ahead and cook them to order. It doesn't take that long to cook from the frozen stage to a well-done burger. So he did. He was very proud that at the end of every shift, his margin of error was almost zero. Have maybe like 1 or no burgers pre-cooked left over. That saved a lot of money because those burger patties are expensive. Anyways, Colin Powell. Powell's focus always on the mission and the task ahead. It wasn't ever about achieving personal greatness. He knew that a great organization succeeded and fell together not through individual performance, he once said. I try to do the best what has come my way. I'm not without ambition. I had a full and active public life. Bureaucratic leadership was highlighted in a book socialized by sociologist George Ritzer, his book entitled McDonaldization Society. Have you guys ever heard of that? McDonaldization. He feels that McDonaldization happens when a society adopts the characteristics of fast food restaurant. Okay. So he highlighted 4 primary components of McDonaldizations. But before we get into this, okay, I'm going to show you guys. We need to watch this YouTube video. It's only about 11 minutes. So I'm going to pop it in the chat. Okay. And I'm going to show you what it looks like on the screen. Okay. So it's about 8.5 minutes. Okay. So here's the link. Go watch it. Okay. And we're going to come back and discuss it. Here's what it looks like. Okay. Go check it out. I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to recap it again. But watch it and we come back and discuss it. Okay. Give you about 10 minutes to watch it. Hey guys, I gave you the wrong one. Hold on. Backtrack, all right? That's a good one too, but I gave you the wrong one.
You're still muted, Chef.
I'm sorry, I gave you guys the wrong video, the wrong link. That's the second one is the right one.
William Swenson, who recently was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for his actions on September 8th, 2009. On that day, a column of American and Afghan troops were making their way through a part of Afghanistan to help protect a group
Chef,
of
did you send the link?
Afghan government officials who'd be meeting with some local village elders. The column came under ambush and was surrounded by
Chef.
sides. And amongst
It's in the chat. The new link's in the chat.
I don't have it.
It's see, there's 2 YouTube links in the group chat.
Oh, I thought that was one link.
Yeah, there's one underneath it. I think it's the one underneath is the one you want to go to.
Yeah.
I had an important phone call. Do you know if I can still pop in really quick? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna leave and then just come back. I just have like a few like quick questions to ask her since after this block I only have 2 blocks left and I have an idea of where I want to go with my externship. So
Okay.
cool. I'll be back.
Nia's almost done.
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yes.
All right.
Finished as well.
Yeah, the entire TED Talk for that little snippet is amazing. That guy's pretty good.
What do you guys think?
Fantastic.
Honestly, I mean, it's good. I like TED Talks personally, but it's like, I don't know, it's not any, I didn't think it was any fresh material.
What do you think about his TED Talk on leadership?
Yeah, the one you just sent us, the one we just watched.
Yeah, what do you guys think about his TED Talk on leadership?
Pretty good. Like sacrifice, like if you show a willingness to sacrifice yourself for your team would do the same. You know, that's how you get the diehard, die in the wool, like true people, true believers that are gonna, you know, go the whole 9 yards for you. You know, yeah. Like on that whole video, he talks about like the military quite a bit and how like there's that just one set of people that are heroes and they always want to save the day or whatever. It's their life's choice. And like having those people in your presence and like incorporating those type of people in your team help you, you know, I guess develop a, you know, develop strong, you know, a team that would sacrifice itself, you know, jump on the grenade or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But to have to develop those personality traits in people.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
I like the bit where he talked about we have some people who are in high positions who are not necessarily leaders, but they're in authority, and we only respect them not because they're good leaders, but because that they hold some sort of authority over us.
Mm-hmm. That's good. You want to add some more, Mr. Landon?
Yeah, like I said earlier, like it's all really good. It's all well spoken and like well presented. I just didn't think any of the material was fresh. It's, you know, kind of I don't want to say cliche, but kind of is cliche.
You guys think about in the kitchens in the industry. Okay, we always we hear this quite often. We're just a number, right? We're indispensable, right? That means you can even hear the great state of Texas. Your job, your position is at will. That means they can let you go for no reason at all, at any time, right? So when you get hired, it's an at will state. So always, you know, we hear this, oh, we're just a number. They don't care about us and so forth, so on. It's hard to find a place to work where they're going to value you as not just as an employee, but as a human being as well, too, as to keep playing your team. A lot of places you go in there, and again, it's autocratic, do it my way, the highway, or GTFO, right? Hit the road. But in certain places, when you get hired, you notice that you sometimes notice the vibes in the workplace. Everybody works in unity, in unison. Everybody watches their back, right? In the kitchen, in the kitchen team, it is best to work as a team and not against each other. Because if you're in the weeds and then the grill cook comes in and gets you out of the weeds, that's an awesome thing to do. Or somebody else in the weed, you go ahead and pull them out of the weed. That's teamwork. But a lot of places I worked at, when you're in the weeds and the guy next to you is with his twirling his thumb, so there's arm crossed, and just watching you sink further and further into the weeds without offering a hand to help you guys out. A while ago, you know, I took over a property, and when I took over this property, and again, my whole professionalism is about uniform. I was trained in the mid 80s when I first started. I didn't have any culinary background experience or education, should we say. I was a knucklehead, 18 years old, 17 years old, running around the streets doing things I shouldn't be doing. So the executive chef took me in. He was French. He took me in, and he believed in the total utmost respect with the profession, meaning the uniform, the hat, the chef's coat, your apron. And back then we used to wear the black and white houndstooth pants, cook's pants. We also had to wear our scarf. Those of you guys who know me in campus, I'm the only one on campus of all the instructors that wear a scarf no matter what, right? I'm the only nerd, okay? So anyways, I took over this property, and when I took over this property, it was busy. And the line cooks were in jeans, t-shirt, a baseball cap facing backwards, and tennis shoes, dancing around all beat up mats that they were so gummy. They were a lot worse if you had them on, and you could just had them off and be better off without the mats, okay? Dishwashers, believe it or not, the uniform was a white short sleeve shirt and white pants, okay? Now, the pants were so worn and beat up, they looked like cheesecloth. You can see the Fruit of the Looms underwear through their pants. Not that I wanted to see, but you can escape it. They were there, okay? So slowly, in time, I switched over to the whole uniform of the chef's coats, the houndstooth pants, and we had the work for crews, shoes for crews system in place, so they can afford to buy non-slip shoes and work better in the kitchen. So then we'll be slipping and sliding like if it was an ice skating rink. They also had to wear the hat, okay, and their aprons, of course, along with the sanitation practices, so the sanitation bucket, washing your hands, and so forth, so on. My dishwashers, we went from having to wear white pants that looked like cheesecloth to dark navy blue pants, okay? And of course, I got my dishwashers a baseball hat to wear because, again, you got to wear hair restraint in the kitchen because of, one of the things that the health department does is if you don't have a hair restraint, they give you certain points because you can have some hair on your food, okay? And again, not only because of that, sometimes, we bald people have no hair. But what happens, throughout if you don't wear a hat and you have no hair, right? Our bodies shed a lot of skin. In our top of the head, it's called dandruff, right? Little flakes, snowflakes. If you don't wear a hat and you're bald or you have hair and you're working around the kitchen, you may leave those flakes all over the place, even in your food. Now, let me ask you questions. Let me ask you a question. Does everybody washes their hair every single day? No, right? If you do, great. If you don't, hair restraint. Because if we don't wash our hair every day or our head, that dandruff collects because we're shedding skin. Those particles are like Parmesan cheese on your food.
And
So
if you have Parmesan, if you have dandruff, and you have to treat that and take care of that, Head and Shoulders, all that, whatever you got to do. But washing every day is kind of bad for it because it drains out all the oils, and so it doesn't look as good, and two, it'll fall out and thin out. So it's best to wash it every other day. That's what I do.
To each his own, but still to wear hair restraint. I'm not saying wash your hair every single day, but you got to have a hair restraint, right? Whether you're bald or have hair.
A hat, a chef's cap, anything. You got to have that stuff in the kitchen anyway. So
anything. So restraint for having hair in your food and also having the Parmesan cheese on your food as well too, right? So anyways, I got my dishwasher a baseball hat, that said chef on it. Just, to make you feel
sick. I'd want one of those.
To make you feel good. So I had a crew, about 4 of them from they were mentally challenged. Right? They were living at a place where they were trying to get them back into the system. Awesome dishwashers, and I had one of them who was very quiet, an introvert, did not speak, and I thought he was deaf or mute. I thought he would speak. Every time I go to the dish pit, he was always smiling on his face. Whether he was busy, slammed, or he had no dishes to wash, he was always in the corner. If he had nothing, he would just arm cross and just stand there with a smile on his face. Okay, and again, these are people who that were trying to get back into the system. So one day, after being there for about 3 years, one day, his name was Brad. Brad comes up to me from the dish pit. I'm like, whoa, He's actually walking away from the dish pit. So he walks up to me and he looks at me with a smile and he said, "Chef," and I said, "Yes, Mr. Brad." He said, "I want to be a chef one of these days." I'm like, I was blown away. I'm like, dude, he speaks. The second, he came out of the dish pit, right? So, anywho, I made him into my employee cafeteria cook / prep. You know, I gave him a raise, and he was took care of the employee cafeteria. So, you know, I trained him how to cook those meals, and everything that he cooked was either frozen, pre-made, or you know, we gave him something to do, and you know, he prepared his meals from fried catfish, fried French fries. He set up the salad bar, kept the cafeteria nice and clean, organized. The best one ever so far. They kept the place nice and neatly and tidy. Took it very personal. He would get upset if somebody did not, you know, remove the plates on the table and put them in the trash can and so forth, so on. So he was very, very loyal, very dependable. And again, it happens only because they were taken care of, right? From wearing God-forsaken, beat-up, worn pants to now they had a fresh look, had a baseball hat, the chef on it, so they felt good about themselves. They felt that they belonged to the team instead of being stuck in the dish pit, you know, like the lowest part of the kitchen. And actually, to be quite honest, dishwashers are the heart and soul of the operation. A place cannot survive without a dishwasher. But a lot of them get mistreated. So, anyways, that happened because, you know, we went to a transition, and I was trying to take care of my staff. So you got to treat them with respect. And the thing I like about this TED Talk about the leadership styles is, again, you look at your chef or your executive chef to be able to protect you and keep you safe and keep you guarded, also to give you guidance, but not to treat you as a number. Because otherwise, you go in the kitchen, here's 25 pounds of bass, go chop it. Okay, how do you want me to cut it? Julienne, dice, small dice, what, right? And then what about, can you give me something else to do, something that'll make you feel better, something that'll make you feel part of this team, okay? So it's a good one to watch, inspirational as well too, about, you know, being a good leader, not a management, and treating people with respect, because that's what it's all about. We like respect, right? Back when I first started, my executive chef, he was Russian. He would literally flank satay pans across the room and hit the wall. I'm like, the hell? What's wrong with you guys? Okay. Anyway, because they want to watch about leadership. Just keep that in mind. Okay. So, Ritzer, go back to McDonaldization. Efficiency, the optimal method of accomplishing the task. In this context, Ritzer had a very specific meaning of efficiency. In the example of McDonald's customers, and his fastest way to get them from hungry to being full. Efficiency McDonaldization means that every aspect of the organization is geared towards the minimization of time. Calculatability. Objectives should be quantifiable rather than subjectable. So sales versus taste. McDonaldization develops the notion that quantity equals quality, and that a large amount of product being delivered to the customer in a short amount of time, the same as a high quality product. This allows people to quantify how much they're getting versus how much they are paying. Organizations want consumers to believe that they're getting a large amount of product for not a lot of money. Workers in this organization are judged by how fast they are instead of the quality they work. Just like Whataburger, right?
These guys are not fast.
No, they're not fast. But good burgers, right?
Yeah.
Great burgers, fast service, get in and get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that an actual word?
Which one?
McDonaldization?
Yes, it is. It is. It is a nice little word. Okay. And there is a little video about it too. I'm going to pop it in a minute. Okay. So here's the, let me see if I can find it. You guys, it's about a 5-minute video. It's an actual word that they create about McDonaldization. Where is it? Right here. Okay. I'm gonna pop in the link.
refers to the business model
Hold on.
adopted by McDonald's in the past.
I'm gonna pop in the link on the chat. Okay. Where is it? Where'd the chat go? All right, here's the link. That's the right one too. So go check it out, McDonaldization.
I don't see it, Chef.
I'm not sharing with you guys.
No. Well, there's a video on the screen, yeah. Not in the chat, though.
Yeah, there it is.
Refresh or something. I'm still not seeing it in the chat.
Oh, okay. My bad.
There you go.
There you go.
Refers to the business model adopted by society.
So what did I miss?
A couple of videos. Now, right now we're watching a McDonaldization video, the ones on the screen in the chat room.
So do I go to the one in the chat room, or is it like on the shared screen?
The share screen is what it looks like, but the chat room is a link.
Okay, so I'm confused. Do we watch it by ourselves on the link, or is it?
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, because if I try to show you guys on the screen, it's going to have that lag behind it. It's not going to, for Wi-Fi.
Okay. Sounds good.
What do you think now about McDonaldization?
I think it like makes sense. That's a great and that's the way to do it because that's how I like imagined it was effectiveness essentially. So just like changing out the word for effectiveness, but it's like 3 different things rolled into one.
You get it,
not.
And you get in volume, not value for your dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because God knows what kind of meat is McDonald's.
Socialism.
What kind of meat or what kind of chicken are those McNuggets?
That's what like I mean, I like chicken nuggets, like especially from McDonald's. It's the way like the skin is. But I also know like it's just everything in there. It's the hair, it's the beak, it's the feet, it's the talons, it's the ligaments, it's the tendons. It's like everything just mushed into a patty.
Uh-huh.
I'll still eat it.
McDonaldization is a true word, okay? And it happens, even in places we don't ever think about happening. Let me go back. Let's go back to the lecture that's on hand. Okay. So McDonaldization, that's what it's all about. So democratic leadership, we talk extensively about autocratic. What about democratic leadership? What is democracy? Right? Concept.
Ruled by the people, for the people.
Is a concept everyone is aware of, and in order to understand how democratic leadership works, you must comprehend the old AHO theory of democracy. The word democracy has its roots in ancient Greece, which is where the concept of democracy began. The word democracy means rule by the people, like you said. The essential idea is that instead of someone ruling over the people, such as a tyranny or oligarchy, people will hold power to decide. A democratic system, everyone is involved in the decision-making process. A democratic system is perhaps the most difficult system to pull off, especially in a large hospitality operation. During lunch rush, you won't have time to get everybody's input for every decision. Thus, in restaurants and catering operations, it is used very rarely when quick, decisive leadership is crucial. However, it can be more easily used for slower company-wide decisions, for which there is time to collaborate and get everybody's input. In your classes, when you go in the kitchen, what happens if you got a democratic leadership in your table? What may happen?
There's gonna be some oversight.
If you got too much democratic and no autocratic, oversight of what has happened in the past when you guys experience in the kitchens, when you guys go to regional 201 or 101 or in your production?
Not everything gets done, and
bingo.
Yeah.
A little bit of the discombobulator, right? You might leave a recipe or two out because nobody is going to do the recipe, right?
Yeah, democracy is great until you're the only one that, like, if everybody wants your bicycle, you got to give them your bicycle, man. It's democracy. They all want it.
Yeah, no good sometimes. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not, but you can be a little bit of both, autocratic, democratic, okay? So democratic leadership is most commonly used in hotels. There are some hotel events, such as banquets, that require all hotel departments to work in harmony. The caller prepares the food, the stewarding department manages the waitstaff, and handles setup and cleanup. The booking department uses the opportunity to sell rooms, and the banquet department coordinates everyone. When done well, democratic management promotes synergy, producing a result that is greater than the sum of all its parts. Think about it. Different departments, right? All toward the same goal: money, generate revenue. Implementing a democratic leadership style requires trust. Not only one does the manager needs to trust his or her workers with the decision-making responsibilities, the workers also need to trust each other. Though it's harder to use when autocratic, bureaucratic leadership is primary management style, but it can be more rewarding when it succeeds, okay? Core functions of democratic leadership: the distribution of leadership,
The empowerment of subordinates, aiding in democratic decision-making deliberations. 1, distribution of leadership. Democratic leadership requires an equally shared power structure without any hierarchy in the decision-making. But the responsibility to share responsibilities doesn't mean that each decision must always be made with the group. Depending on the specific roles of the responsibilities, certain decisions might be only in the hands of the leader. Each decision made with must be done according to the expectations of the electorate, and then the member has to be able to explain his decisions to the voter. Similarly, a leader might have the power to make certain decisions, guaranteed that he or she is able to do it without the approval of his or her subordinates. 2, empowerment of subordinates. Another vital function of the leadership system is the ability to empower subordinates in the simplest forms. This happens throughout the distribution of responsibilities and power to make decisions. Democratic leadership doesn't purely assume people should participate in decision-making. It actively requests people to contribute. 3, the aiding of democratic decisions, making the deliberations. The final core function of the democratic leadership model revolves around the creation of restructures and that supports the encouragement of deliberation. This can be achieved through constructive participation, facilitation, and the maintenance of healthy relationship and a positive emotional setting. Equally, this requires problem solving to be done through analysis and group deliberation. Solutions must reflect the group effort in understanding the situation with the collective interest of the group being at the heart of the solution. In terms of facilitation, the leader's role is not to guide the decision itself, but rather ensure that there are structures and the processes in the essence of the role to oversee the process follows preset guidelines, which is important and effective for decision making. Must be healthy relationship with the corporation and positive enforcement when using democratic leadership's framework. So, democratic leaderships. I know you guys been in the kitchens in the past. Have you guys ever walked to one of my classes buffets, the barbecue or brunch?
That barbecue buffet is amazing. I think it's my favorite part of any block.
So you ever been to one of that I've done in the past on the regionals?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So try and go back and remember, how was it set up? How did you like the format, the setup?
Where it was like the meat, then the vegetables, and the desserts. And I think I had like the breads at the beginning. I think it's like practice, but I think that's pretty much because that's what a lot of people like load up on first anyways, meats. And so you don't want to load up on like anything else and then have no room for your main course. So, I mean, I thought it was smart.
Okay. So on that aspect of demographic leaderships, I started with the autocratic, because regional comes around real quick. Second week, day 6, that's when the barbecue buffet starts being preparing, and then day 7 is when the actual buffet starts. So day 1, we talk about the syllabus, we talk about what is expected, and we also go over the barbecue buffet because it comes fast and furious. So by Wednesday, I asked him, I need a menu by Thursday, okay, hopefully maybe Friday, of what they would like to have on the barbecue buffet. The staples. You think about it, you have the mac and cheese, the beans, the brisket, the ribs, the chicken, the what else? Collard greens, cornbread, coleslaw, whatever goes to the barbecue buffet, right? So, and then I asked him too, one of you guys be in charge, an autocratic leadership, be in charge of coming up with the menu, typing the menu, and also you guys decide out of democratic leadership who's going to do what, and you guys decide on Monday who's going to prep it, given the timelines that we have to produce a barbecue buffet. And the last piece of the puzzle, I always tell them, and I always leave it up to them. I said, this is your show, this is your buffet, okay? So you guys want to bring any props or decorations for your buffet? It's up to you. Not required, but it's up to you. Because you guys seen many different buffets in the kitchens, right? Different styles. Some go all the way out. Some go, very plain and simple. The parchment paper with the steel top tables. Some bring in the props. So different styles. But again, every group is different. And democratic is on their own. This is your show. You decide how you're going to proceed forward with it and how you're going to display it. Given that
that comes around real quick. So we always start with the beginning, you know, the cold sides, the meats on the middle, and then the desserts and beverages on the end. But what you guys should be able to see is the different styles of how the students, how they set it up. And some are on point about making sure that it's a barbecue theme. I had different ones do a Hawaiian barbecue theme, a Texas barbecue theme, a rusty barbecue theme, different kinds of themes to the barbecue buffet. And again, it's a democratic approach. Everybody has their own style. Aside from the food, you know, being sometimes awesome, sometimes good, sometimes like, damn, the brisket's so elastic, can't even chew it. So, democratic, right? Advantages to democratic leadership. Advantages of the leadership style come from the increased involvement in subordinates. First, being part of the group and having an equal say in the running of things will provide a sense of empowerment for employees. When subordinate feels included and able to have a say, the job satisfaction rate can improve as a result. You don't feel as a machine, just what doing what you were told to do, but part of organization. Being more involved with the projects and tasks will increase subordinates' commitment levels. When you feel contribution is important, you want to put your heart out and soul into the achievement of result. In essence, subordinates see themselves investment in the outcome. This in turn is beneficial for organization because it can lead to projects being finished more efficiently. What about Google? You guys think they're democratic?
Google? No. Huh. My phone actually turned on when I said
that. Why not?
Because the way, I mean, I don't know how to put it. They're pretty constructed with how they do things and run things, even though like they have a lot of like open creative space and like open environment for their workers and stuff like that at the headquarters. The way they do stuff is very, trying to think of the word, very straightforward and to the book. Like they don't mess around.
So they could be autocratic and democratic.
Right.
Right. Because you go in there, you go in your jeans, flip-flop shorts, right? But then you have those guidelines to follow. So it can be both. So furthermore, democratic leadership also enjoys from the benefits of diverse opinions. Since the decision-making process is based on sharing ideas and collaborating as a team to reach consensus, the decisions are more thought through and could better answer the needs of the organization. This is more balanced, and the discussion before the decisions are made can point out any problems in the process and the projects might have. This can then be eradicated or prepared for better, gathering different opinions. So the decision isn't just about the diverse ideas it brings about, but also the increased knowledge. People are experts in different things, and by asking a group of people to contribute, you guarantee the people who know the most, but given a subject, provide their expertise. Therefore, decision making will undergo can have a show. Wait, hold on, what happened? That's it. Here we go. Right. Do we go back? There we go. Thought I lost the screen. Anyways, gather different opinions. Is it about the diverse ideas it brings about? Also increase knowledge. People are experts, okay? So disadvantages of democratic leadership. There are specific disadvantages of theory, and its important leaders are aware of these. First, the leadership theory has something lacked a proper definition of what the democratic leadership actually entails. Clarity definition matters as it makes measurements of theory effectiveness as rather than so difficult. So disadvantage again, there's a loss of speed in decision making, just like you were saying, Mr. Sean, right? When you're in the kitchen, right? There's a loss of speed.
Yeah.
And sometimes become discombobulated, but forget the rest of your tube. So as democratic leadership requires everyone's input, the time for making decisions increases, and you need to organize meetings and have a proper discussion over the subject. In the business world, quick decisions are often required as long as periods and decisions can lead to drop in operations.
if you have a problem in the manufacturing department, for example, you can't spend a month deciding what is best machine to buy in replacement of whether you should just repair it. Okay.
Yeah.
So time is essence. You got to think fast. You got to be on your toes.
I sent you like a direct message, but I have work in 30 minutes, so I have to get ready and get going.
Okay.
Sorry to cut it short.
That's all right.
Okay, thank you.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
What time will class be over?
Well, you're scheduled to be 11:30, 3.5 hours. We'll cut it at 11:20 and then leave it open for any questions you guys might have. Okay, guys? I'm good. All right. Right now, what is it? 10:30? So let's do this. Let's do it right now. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. Go stretch a leg, use the restroom, get a drink. Go check on your goldfish. Maybe he's not running away. Yeah. It's 8:30. Come back. No, yeah, it's 10:30. Come back at 10:40. Hey guys, I gotta let my dog out. All right, guys. Let's get the show going. We got a few more minutes to go. Okay. Let's finish about democratic leadership. We left it a loss of speed, yeah, because sometimes we become undecisive. Okay. So democratic leadership relies on the consensus, but a majority decision isn't always the best decision. A compromise is not always worth it. Okay, so you got to have some kind of autocratic leadership. Other people might prefer hiring the new lead developer in-house. Organization might actually benefit more from bringing in a new talent. This could mean new ideas and new skills. For example, as you can see, diversity of opinion might not mean the best ideas wins, but rather than the team creates a version which most people agree with. Famous Democratic leaders. Dwight D. Eisenhower, a good example of what democratic leadership can achieve when it's put under pressure. The Republican president of the United States had to use his leadership knowledge during one of the toughest times in human history, Second World War. Eisenhower's used a strategic approach to solving the issue, both military and diplomatically. He acted as a supreme allied commander during the war, helping to oversee one of the largest air and sea armadas in history. He later became the supreme commander of NATO and served 2 terms as the president of the United States. The Mayo Family Clinic. You guys ever heard of the Mayo Clinic? 1889.
that Willie Mayo, along with his sons, founded the Mayo Clinic to provide cutting-edge medical research around the world in non-profit style. The hospital healthcare and research facility now attracts plenty of brilliant medical pioneers from different lifestyles. Largely due it's because on the democratic leadership framework, the research center has become success because it isn't led autocratically, but people's ideas and opinions are listened upon. There are no opportunities for collaboration everywhere, and therefore the doctors and researchers are able to draw the best out of each other. People that are interested in working for the organization because it's focused on guaranteeing everyone is an equal voice. He once said, the problem before us is to exchange information and so to educate men through the travel that there should develop a final cosmopolitan system of medicine in which will combine the best elements to be found in all countries. He said, therefore, the medical facility and family setup didn't turn away experts or ignore what they were saying. The family understood that this transformation of healthcare requires fresh thinking and collective knowledge. Organization also understood the importance of combining different levels of knowledge together. They didn't subscribe to the simplest specialist idea and that you're an expert. You alone can make the right choices. Another telling quote that Dr. Charlie Mayo said, the definition of a specialist is one who knows more and more about the less and less is good and true. It's true makes essential that the specialists do efficient work, must have some association with others who, taken all together, represent the whole of which the specialty is one part. So Larry Google, right? We're just talking about Google. Larry Page from Google. Google has pursued democratic leadership since its foundation in 1998. Larry Page, a co-founder and Google CEO, has been an incremental part of creating not only the business empire of Google, but also the democratic approach, innovation, and collaboration. Page's intelligence and creativity personality drives his style. He has been ambitious throughout his career. At one stage, he stated his work as philosophy is, we should be building great things that don't exist. The radical approach to innovation drives the democratic framework as well too. Because Page so focused on finding the next big thing, he likes to involve other people in the decision making. His approach is questioning, and he tries to bring out the best in his employees. There are no half-truths about the shortcuts, but employees must be able to demonstrate their opinions or ideas. So he's giving them freedom to be innovative. He's paying to be creative. Isn't that awesome? For you to get paid and be creative on somebody else's money? Right?
Believe it when I see it.
Yeah, be creative on somebody else's money, but still getting paid.
That's the dream.
Hey, Larry Page, right? When Page started as Google CEO, he changed his existing strategies around. His first objective was to break the company into smaller parts, which would use democratic strategies to innovate and create. Essentially, he wanted them to act as small startups. He then provided the individual teams with more autonomy and wanted to enhance collaboration within the team in return. Page's leadership style shines through the following quote: my job as a leader is to make sure everybody in the community has great opportunities and that they feel they're having meaningful impact and they're contributing to the good of the society. As a world, we're doing a better job with that. My goal is for Google to lead, not to follow that. So they're leaders, they're not sheep, okay? So final thoughts on Google, on democratic. Democratic leadership is perhaps the most beloved leadership framework. Idea of shared responsibilities and great involvement in the whole team has become popular among CEOs and employees alike, but it's also a system which can be difficult to establish and maintain. A truly democratic leadership framework does not necessarily work because it can be slow in terms of decision making, and this consensus favoring approach might lead to diluted decisions in terms of effectiveness. As examples for the businesses world have shown, often solid leadership requires making the difficult and inferable decision making in a time of crisis. With the democratic leadership, the focus can be too much in maintaining a good work environment instead of doing what the organization needs.
On the other hand, open and innovative environments does not breed creativity, which can boost a company's performance. If the leader is able to use his or her creativity, honesty, and intelligence to empower the challenge of the subordinates, then the group together can achieve the result fast. The democratic framework provides more equal and innovative setting for people that achieve the basis of the best possible results. What about laissez-faire? Come on, spit it out.
It's like don't rock the boat, leave it be.
We call them pencil pushers, seat warmers.
Right.
So laissez-faire is a French term that means allowed to pass or leave it be. This management style, also known as delegated management, this management concept leaves little authority to the manager. Instead, all the members are given freedom to perform their task in whatever manner they choose. It is basically a hands-off approach, and one which believes that people, when left to perform their functions, will excel. Not always true, right?
Right.
So you guys been, so go ahead.
Like, what is it? Not Sure from Idiocracy, where he's like, he said, lead follower, get out of the way. So I got out of the way.
So in certain kitchens, you know, I know Chef Raph does a cleanup rotation on the kitchens, right? He posted up in the cooler for who's going to be doing what, correct? And some instructors don't, right? Some instructors leave you, right? And you guys work it out, but the kitchen has to be clean. So in the case like that, you know, when you have the pros and cons of that leadership style of, you know, doing the autocratic or detailed amounts of what's supposed to be done, you know, it works really well sometimes, but sometimes if you have somebody that does the minimal job, they will finish early and then we'll just stand around. It's not my job. I'm done. I'm finished. Well, dude, right? We're all getting out at the same time. Let's collaborate. Let's all work together as a team and let's get it done, right? In the other hand, when there's a democratic, laissez-faire approach, I'm not going to put a cleaning schedule, right? You guys go ahead and clean. Sometimes in classes, the dynamics are awesome. Everybody works together. Everybody washes the dishes. Everybody cleans, and they get out maybe 10, 15 minutes early before their end time. In some cases, you'll have those who just grab a broom and just start acting like they're sweeping the floor, spending about an hour and a half doing pretty much folding the broom. So laissez-faire, leave it to me. Some doesn't work, sometimes it doesn't. So characterized by very little guidance from leaders, complete freedom for followers to make decisions. Leaders provide the tools and resources needed. Group members are expected to solve problems on their own. Power is handed over to followers, yet leaders will take responsibility for the group's decisions and actions. Yeah, right?
I've seen it work a couple times. Like, I've seen exec chefs that like have all the sous chefs, and basically, if you're a chef de partie, you do whatever the sous chef says. But if you mess up, sous chef gets chewed out, and it just trickles down from there. You know, head chef doesn't talk to any of the chef de partie or station chefs. He just talks to the sous chef, and that's the layer of responsibility stops right there, and then down that way.
It does. Like I said, it does work sometimes. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't work sometimes.
There have been a number of well-known political and business leaders throughout the history who have exhibited characteristics of a laissez-faire leadership style. Steve Jobs was once known for giving instructions about what he would like to see his team, but then leaving them to their own devices to figure out how to fulfill his wishes. Steve Jobs. Apple. Former US President Herbert Hoover was famous for taking on a more laissez-faire approach to governing. often by allowing more experienced advisors to take on tasks where he lacked knowledge and expertise. So benefits can work for motivated teams with high expertise skills. Creative teams may value independence, works well with leaders provided, need information and materials as a start of a project. Drawbacks, not good for groups lacking needed skills, motivation, adherence, and deadlines can result in poor performance and outcomes. Leaders may appear uninvolved, confusion of the roles in the group. Like I say, when you're in the kitchen and you don't have that list and your dynamics of the classroom and your classmates, you don't have any flow, you don't have any cohesiveness, it fall apart. Then you have the kitchen that is half-ass clean. Trash not taking, you don't sweep underneath the equipment, underneath the tables are not being clean, right? Maybe nobody wants to go wash dishes, nobody wants to take out the trash, and so forth, so on. So sometimes those are the drawbacks of a laissez-faire approach. Final thoughts, laissez-faire style of leadership is something dismissed as one of the leads to poor group outcomes, but it can be appropriate and effective in a variety of situations. In setting where group members are highly skilled and motivated, can actually produce excellent results because team members get to exercise a great deal of freedom, free from exercise, micromanaging. They often feel more inspired and creative. Okay. I don't have that one yet. Okay. What about other forms of leadership as well? Inspirational management style. Inspirational leader is not an easy task, but it's extremely effective when accomplished. The inspirational type of management style requires superb people skills, big heart, and an honest desire to help employees develop both and outside the workplace. I don't have that one either, too. It was gone. I looked at it. The Perfect Boss. We already saw that one. Okay. So what do you guys think about the leadership styles in industry? What is your leadership style?
I'm more of a get out of the way kind of guy. I'm not I don't partake.
Anyone else?
I like the combination. You got to have a little bit of everything, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, a while ago, I had the chance to get promoted within and move up the ranks. And I went ahead and opened the Embassy Suites in Norman, Oklahoma. Sister property to the one in San Marcos here in Texas, off of I-35. It's about 43,000 square feet of meeting space. And the largest banquet event, the ballrooms can hold up to 2,000 people. Okay, so that property, I approached it as an autocratic leadership. I had to build a team from scratch. The building was not, it was still in scaffolding, but we're set up outside the trailer in an office. And we had job fairs, interviewing and so forth, so on. Once I went through the interview process and I hired my staff, along with the employee handbook and the onboarding. Do you guys know what onboarding is?
UT has like a 3-day onboarding process, dude. It's long, almost like a week.
What is that?
Some places have one full day of onboarding. They'll probably even give you lunch. Okay, onboarding is when you spend about 6 to 8 hours, maybe sometimes 4 hours. If you're going to work for a large company, it's about the structure and the vision of the company, and also the mission statement, what they're all about. And
like a stage?
No, it's different than a stage. Stage for free.
Kind of like an orientation sort of thing?
Yes, kind of an orientation.
And, you fill out all the necessary forms, the application and so forth, so on. You get an employee handbook and all that good stuff on it. So onboarding, okay. So we had an onboarding, but on my property, when I had built my team, along with the onboarding, it built a kitchen manual / code of ethics for my staff before they even hit the kitchen floor. And I had it done so detailed and basic. This is what it looked like. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. This is what I have my new hire staff read over it and sign and date before they can turn it in. And they also got a copy of it. The signed copy, signed dated, went into their file folder. The other one, they kept it. Okay. It had receiving in storage, from how to receive food. Okay, from not receiving any empty canned goods, moldy food, check invoice versus physical product to match. Anything that's damaged, send back, do not accept, put foods properly, safe storage procedures, 6 inches off the floor. Why do we have to store the product 6 inches off the floor? Anybody knows?
So pests can't get to it.
What else?
Dirt, bacteria, mud, mopping, mop water.
To keep it clean.
Bingo, because again, mice, rats, poor eye vision, they guide themselves to the whiskers. So they go on the baseboards or on the floors to find food sources. Also too, if you put a plastic milk crate and put a box of potatoes, right? The plastic milk crate is not NSF's ServSafe certified shelving unit. So you can't sweep underneath a case of potatoes or mop because it's solid. Okay. How to cook foods, how to keep them raw, cooked about raw foods, how to put produce in a box, how to store meats, all chemicals, even culinary professionalism. This is what I have my staff sign before they came on board. From number 1, report to work station on time, in the appropriate clean uniform and well groomed. Always leave your teammates, if you're going to carry heavy hot items, always ask for help. Check prep list with chef, check occupancy in the house, gather necessary equipment, mise en place, always taste food. But always taste food, even I put it at the bottom here, with a plastic spoon or a metal spoon, not with your fingers, okay? Take a designated lunch break, okay? Remove trash, remove floor mats, sweep and mop around your workstation, check with the closing chef, always make sure you punch out, okay? Even in banquets, we call those BEO, banquet event orders, okay? How to read the number expected, menu, how many items to be prepared, special instructions, BO numbers, banquet production sheets, clean as you go, okay? Even food and safety standards, practices, okay? Prevention is key, foodborne illnesses, okay? Items to remind us of food safety, cover infected cuts, wear clean gloves, report to work well groomed, keep fingernails clean and trim, follow the company's guidelines and jewelry, wash your hands as much as possible. This was in 2010. Wash your hands as often as possible. Eat and drink from food production storage, away from food production storage. When tasting this food, food is plastic spoons, okay? Points of interest, avoid handling any portion tableware from the serving side, always from the handle. Time and temperature, what to look out for about the dangerous temperature zones. Okay, cold foods, reheated foods. Sanitation on the prevention of foodborne illnesses, what to do to prevent foodborne illnesses, okay? Cook, reheat items to 165, holding 140, not below, okay, if it falls below, then if it's cold, 40 degrees or below, but if it's hot, 140 or above. cover, label, and date all the products together. Even what kind of cutting boards we had in the kitchen. Yes, white is for dairy and breads, green is for produce, fruit and vegetables, yellow is for raw poultry, brown is for cooked meats, red is for raw meats, pink is for raw pork, and blue is for raw seafood. You won't believe how many students come from Foundations 101 and they forget about Serve Safe first week. They're in 2-1, even in 2-1 right afterwards. Even in regionals all the way down to the farm to table. They're using a yellow cutting board to cut cooked chicken. No, no, no. Okay. How do you use hand sanitizer? Clean as you go, and then sign and date. Okay. For requirements for serving safe food. Okay. Inspect all foods thoroughly. Equipment. Wash your hands after you eat. Use the restroom. Touch money. Touch raw foods. Touch your face, hair, or skin. Cough, sneeze. Comb your hair. Handle anything dirty. Take a break. So a while ago, 9-10 years ago, there was another world event that changed how we had how we keep food safety. You guys don't remember what it was?
Mad cow disease or the bird flu or something like that.
The E. coli or salmonella?
But 10 years ago, so when there was another virus that made us go this route, just like it is now.
It was the mad cow, right?
The flu, right?
H1N1.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, the bird flu.
And same as it is now, we had to proceed with caution and we had to keep the public safe as possible. History is repeating itself again, but this time is more severe. Last time we had the H1N, we didn't have astronomical fatalities as we have in this country now. It was contained, they developed a vaccine, and we controlled it far better than it is controlled now. It wasn't spread as much as it is now, okay? So we had to make sure that they understand about keeping food safety and the washing of your hands and keeping yourself protected, okay? Even how to wash your hands, again, because of the H1N1, first pick up a hand washing sink, wearing a watch, remove it, turn water aside as you can stand it. Even how to wash your hands, ABC style, okay? ABC, how to spell it out, because again, not everybody washes their hands, okay? So with washing hands, I'm gonna share a story with you guys. I was working at a hospital in 2011, okay, in a hospital. It's 160 beds, okay? So we had the dining room area, call it the cafeteria, open to the hospital staff and the public. And inside the dining room area, there was another section only for the doctors. Different menu, different setup, different service. So the bathrooms were right across the dining room, of course. So I went to use the restroom, and I was there was one stall, one urinal. And you know how the wall comes all the way down, but it doesn't come all the way to the floor, right? You can see somebody's Mickey Mouse socks and shoes, right? So I'm washing my hands, and that individual flushes, gets up, walks past behind me and out the door. Okay, at a hospital. So I could see their scrubs, I could see their shoes, and I could see their socks. So later on, I wanted to find out who that individual was, right? So I went to the employee cafeteria, the dining room, and I was walking around to see who matched the shoes, the socks, and the scrubs. Nobody that I saw there matched it. So I completely forgot about it. And later on, I went to replace the food at the doctor's lounge. And lo and behold, who do you think I saw that matched those shoes, socks, and scrubs?
Chief surgeon.
A surgeon. A surgeon at a hospital who did not wash his hands in the bathroom. As I'm washing my hands, proceeded to walk out of the bathroom behind me and exit out the door. A surgeon. So if a surgeon at a hospital doesn't wash your hands, how many of you guys have a tendency to, before this happened, washing your hands as much sauté in the kitchens?
I overkilled it, yeah. Y'all scared me with Serve Safe, dude. I wash my hands too much now.
I had a student in farm to table.
who allegedly has some skin issues and could not wash his hands with the soap and sanitizer because it would have some, you know, some cuts on his hands. And I'm like, well, you got to wear gloves. And he didn't want to wear gloves. He was like, I'm not touching your food. I am not touching your food. Okay. Always, even back then, wash your hands. Okay. You had to spell it out. And even personal hygiene tips. Okay. Brush your teeth. Again, why is it important to brush your teeth before you go to work in the kitchen?
Bacteria.
What else?
Spit.
Aside from halitosis,
Don't want to fall out in your corn salsa.
you can't taste the true flavors of the food, right? Because whatever bacteria is in your mouth and those green fumes coming out of your mouth from the halitosis, you can't smell or taste the food. Okay. Clean your place, clean uniform, wash your hands. Again, emphasize washing hands. Do not use your apron as a towel. Wear hair restraint. Avoid excessive makeup, cologne, I guess, you can't smell the food. Cover coughs. Do not touch your face. So do not touch your face. We have an average of about every single day that we touch our face at about 3,400 times a day of touching our faces. That is how this virus has spread out so easily, so fast. Okay. Taste food properly. Do not use your fingers. Feeling sick, don't even come to work. Cover all cuts.
I like that one because if you're even late, we have to be early. And if you have a cold, my chef would be like, just cover your face and go to work, you know.
No, go home, stay home. Don't come to work, right? Avoiding touching in food service contexts, the dishes, utensils, so on. Again, wear gloves. Smoke and eat only in designated areas. No gum chewing, because even if you chew gum, you might spit the gum out into somebody's food. Okay, my gum is flying out. Say knife handling techniques, how to use a knife. Use a knife safely. Okay, you had to spell it out. Use a metal gloves, we call it a shark glove. Okay, reading the MSD sheets, do's and don'ts of safe chemical handling. Don't mix bleach and ammonia because you can have an explosion. Okay, preventing electrical shock. Never touch electrical equipment. Unplug equipment before cleaning. Preventing burns. Pay attention when working around hot equipment. Again, how many times do you go in the kitchen and somebody pulls a stock pot in the back with a handle on the fire, and you're going to grab it, and then you got your hands already seared, right? Avoid overfilling containers with hot food. Again, ask for help. Okay. Preventing a fall. They use wet floor signs. Wear shoes, non-slip shoes. Ladders properly. Hand rails. Turn lights to see. Don't put away frozen food in the fryer. Preventing cuts. How to prevent cuts. Use guards from equipment. Remove can lids entirely from the can. Okay. To generally safety guidelines. Use equipment when you have been trained to. Turn machine on before adjusting. Okay. Unplug. All the way down. How to clean stationary equipment. Unplug it, disassemble, wash, sanitize. How to operate the food chopper. That's a big one. Okay. How to operate a mixer. Believe it or not, a mixer. My pastry people, a mixer. I'm gonna share a story with you guys. It might shock you. Okay. On a mixer, when are you supposed to use a rubber spatula to go scrape the sides of the bowl, inside of the bowl?
When it's on.
Bingo, right? So in 97, 98, we hire a pastry chef instructor from New York City to work at our property in Westchester, north of New York. A pastry chef instructor. Again, a pastry chef instructor to work as a pastry chef. It was a slow time, and she was the only one in the kitchen making cookie dough in one of those big floor stands, not on the table stops, floor stands, kitchen mixer with a cage and the buttons when the bowl raises up and the bowl comes down. Okay. Again, a pastry chef instructor making cookie dough, right? So she's making cookie dough, and all of a sudden she comes back in tears with her arm in her hand. I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? Well, she explained that she made a mistake, turned off the machine, removed the cage, lowered the bowl, and stuck her hand inside the mixer while the paddle was still going in slow motion. The machine was off, but the paddle was still going. What could have happened
if she didn't act quickly and what kind of injury she could have had if she would have stuck her hand a lot deeper into that bowl.
Or broke her arm.
OSHA video.
There's enough force in the mixer, even though it's off, it is still going at a slow speed with enough force that it can break your plastic spatula much more your hand if you decide to stick your hand. A chef instructor, again, that's what we had to include, how to operate a mixer. Okay. Again, turn off and completely wait until it stops moving before you scrape the bowl. Okay. How to read it and sign it. Okay. So aside from the employee handbook, I had to do this, read this document, sign it, and then keep a copy. Because if it came to be that they were in an accident, hey, now you're going to get a verbal warning because you didn't adhere to the guidelines on how to work safe in the kitchen. Because of that document, this is the kind of team that I created. Okay, let me see if I can see. There we go. This is the team that I formed. A picture tells 1,000 words. What do you guys see?
Is that Inch on the end? He looks like him a little bit.
Who?
Chef Inch on the end?
No.
He's got the same ears.
Yeah.
Everyone looks consistent. They're all in uniform. They're all wearing hats. They all look clean.
This was in 2010. So yes, they're all in a clean uniform. Even Mikey, who's got his gloves on in the front, he was my dishwasher that I promoted to a breakfast cook. The two next ones to him are Nahid and Teresa. Their aprons and their hands, because I just pulled them off their stations. This was before a holiday brunch. Because of the guidelines and the structure that I built, they're, like I say, they're all consistent. They're all in the proper uniform, and they're ready to rock and roll. We had about 20 minutes before we opened up the doors for the brunch to start. And the guy that is, like I said, that looks like Chef Inch, his name is Casey. I met him as an intern from Arizona, Cordon Bleu. Promoted him to a lead line cook, promoted him to chef de cuisine, promoted him to banquet sous chef, and brought him with me to this property as my executive sous. He's now the GM of the Renaissance in Tulsa. And of course, he's having fun with Jason with his hands around his neck. So once you set the precedence at the beginning, being autocratic of what is expected, and what you are looking out for, and keep it consistent, you're going to have a successful team. This team, every single day, they would come in and they would make sure they would make sure that they had their hats, their aprons, the gloves. They would even ask me, Chef, do we have more hats or do we have more gloves? Of course, they're in the closet. So you can build a team as you may in the industry. It all depends if you set up the precedence at the beginning. Awesome sheet to have. Okay. So do you guys have any questions? How's your project coming along? Have you guys talked about it yet?
Not really, not.
What project?
Your project for the end of this class?
What is it?
I believe it's a menu, and I believe on the portal on the week 6, if you go on the home page, it has the recipe cost cards, and it calls for 3 starters, 3 mains, and 3 desserts, or 9 altogether. So I believe you're gonna have to create your menu, your recipe cost cards, and present it on your last 2 days of this block.